New Year 2026. God says your greatest suffering ends right here. Listen carefully, my child, because this moment is not accidental and this message did not drift into your life by chance. It found you because I directed it to you, and before you even consider skipping, hear me say this clearly: do not skip this, you must hear this, because what I am about to release over you marks the end of a chapter that has drained your strength, stolen your sleep, and tested your faith in silence. And tell me honestly, have you felt an unexplainable heaviness following you into the new year even though you hoped everything would reset? I see the tears you wiped away when no one noticed. I see the prayers you whispered when words felt too heavy to speak aloud, and this is why I am interrupting your scroll right now, because your suffering has an expiration, and it ends here, right now, and this is not random. You have endured seasons where nothing made sense, where delays mocked your obedience, where betrayal came from directions you never expected, and haven't you wondered why you kept surviving things that should have broken you? Listen carefully, my beloved, that survival was not accidental, it was preservation, because I was keeping you intact for what comes next, and if you feel my presence already, type Amen right now as a sign that your spirit recognizes my voice. There is urgency in this moment because if you leave now you will miss the confirmation you have been begging me for, and I need you to hear this clearly: the pain you thought defined you was actually refining you. And do you feel a strange mix of fear and hope stirring in your chest right now? I know you have asked me why it had to be so hard, why relief kept arriving late, why others seemed to pass you while you remained stuck. But listen, chosen one, delays were not denial, they were protection, and you were being shielded from doors that would have destroyed you. And have you noticed how certain situations fell apart just before you stepped fully into them? Do not skip this, because this is where the shift begins, and I am telling you now that as this new year unfolds, the weight you have been carrying will not follow you forward, because I am cutting it off at the root. And type yes if you are ready to release what has been hurting you for far too long. There is a mystery unfolding around you, a divine rearrangement happening behind the scenes, and while others see nothing changing, the spiritual atmosphere around your life is already different. And haven't you felt moments recently where peace tried to return but fear pulled it back? Listen carefully, my child, that tug of war ends now, because I am stepping in as your defender, and what was draining you will no longer have permission to touch you, and this is not random. I need you alert right now because what I am about to say confirms your destiny, and if you stop listening you will miss the timing. And tell me, do you believe I would bring you this far just to abandon you at the edge of breakthrough? You are protected even when you do not feel strong. You are covered even when doubt speaks loudly, and the suffering you thought would define your story will soon be referenced only as what you survived, not where you remained. And type 1111 if you feel the power of this moment settling over you. There is hope rising even as fear tries one last time to whisper lies. But hear me, my beloved, fear is not your future, and the reason this message feels so personal is because it is. And have you realized how often you have been the strong one for everyone else while quietly breaking inside? Listen carefully, because I am restoring what was taken from you emotionally, spiritually, and in ways you have not even admitted out loud yet, and this is not random. I am about to expose a truth that will make everything make sense, a revelation that will explain why your suffering lingered and why its ending will be sudden. And if you feel my presence now, type Amen again, because what happens next will shock you. Because what you thought was delay was actually divine timing aligning everything at once. And listen carefully, my child, do not skip this moment, because the truth I am releasing now answers the question you have carried in silence for so long. And tell me honestly, have you felt like the pressure intensified just before this new year arrived? That was not coincidence, that was resistance sensing its expiration, because when suffering is about to end it fights hardest, and you must hear this. I allowed the weight to grow heavy not to crush you but to prove to you how strong I made you, and haven't you noticed how even when you felt empty, something inside you refused to give up? This is not random. I am speaking to you now because you are standing at the threshold of a reversal, and if you stop listening you may miss the clarity that frees you. And tell me, do you feel like something old is dying while something new is trying to breathe in your life right now? Listen carefully, my beloved, that confusion you have been feeling is the sound of chains loosening, and the reason your sleep has been restless, your thoughts crowded, your emotions unpredictable is because your spirit already knows change is here, and type yes if you sense that shift even if you cannot explain it yet. I need your full attention now, because I am about to say something that will settle your heart. And do you remember the promises you stopped expecting because waiting hurt too much? I never forgot them, not one, and I am not late, I am precise, and this is not random. You were hidden while others were visible, protected while others were praised, delayed while others were celebrated. And have you wondered why recognition seemed to skip you even when you gave your best? Listen carefully, my child, I was teaching you how to walk without applause so you would never depend on it, and that strength will carry you into what comes next. And do you feel relief and fear colliding inside you as you hear this? That is because your comfort zone is ending, but so is your suffering. And type amen if you are ready to trust me even when the path feels unfamiliar. I am removing people, habits, and mindsets that were silently draining you, and some separations will confuse you at first, and tell me honestly, have certain connections felt heavier instead of supportive lately? That is your confirmation, and this is not random. Do not skip this, because I am preparing you for a blessing that cannot coexist with what was breaking you, and I know you are tired of being strong, tired of explaining your pain, tired of hoping quietly, and haven't you asked me if relief would ever truly come? Hear me now, my beloved, it is not only coming, it is arriving suddenly, and the shift will be so clear that even those who doubted you will notice. And type 1111 if you believe your season is changing right now. I am restoring your confidence, your peace, and your vision for the future, and the heaviness you carried into this year will not make it through. And do you feel your heart softening as hope tries to return? Let it, because you are safe now, and this is not random. What I am about to reveal next explains why your breakthrough will surprise you and why it will come faster than you expect, and listen carefully, because everything is about to change. Because when I move suddenly it is always after a season of silence, and listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because the speed of what is coming will only make sense if you understand why I kept you waiting, and tell me honestly. Have you felt like answers were withheld even when you prayed with sincerity? That silence was not absence, it was preparation, and this is not random. I was aligning circumstances, softening hardened hearts, closing hidden traps, and strengthening your discernment so you would recognize the blessing when it arrived. And haven't you noticed how your tolerance for chaos has decreased recently? That is because I am lifting you into a calmer, higher place, and type amen if peace has become more important to you than proving anything to anyone. There is urgency now because hesitation will try to return, and you must hear this, the door I am opening will not remain open forever, and do you feel a quiet pressure telling you to be ready even though you do not know for what yet? That is my warning wrapped in mercy. Because what I am releasing requires courage, not fear, and this is not random. You have been underestimated, misunderstood, and sometimes overlooked, and haven't you wondered why people misjudged your heart so easily? I allowed that because what I am about to entrust to you must be protected from the wrong eyes, and listen carefully, my beloved, obscurity was your covering, not your punishment, and do you feel something lifting off your chest as you hear this truth? Type yes if your spirit feels lighter even now. I am speaking to the part of you that almost gave up but kept moving anyway, and do you remember the nights you questioned your own worth? I was there, and every tear was counted, and this is not random. There is a shift in authority coming over your life, and when I elevate you, resistance will fall silent, and do not skip this, because I am about to restore what doubt tried to steal, your confidence, your voice, and your expectation. And have you noticed how your intuition has sharpened lately? That is because I am teaching you to trust me and yourself again, and type 1111 if you feel alignment returning. I know fear is whispering that change might hurt, but listen carefully, my child, remaining where you were would hurt more, and do you believe I would lead you into harm after carrying you this far? I am guiding you into safety disguised as transition, and this is not random. The blessing ahead will require you to release old identities, and that release may feel like loss before it feels like freedom, and haven't you already outgrown what once felt comfortable? That discomfort is proof of growth, and you must hear this: your suffering did not break you, it trained you, and do you feel gratitude beginning to replace bitterness right now? Let it, because gratitude unlocks the next door, and type Amen if you are ready to walk through it. What I am about to uncover next will explain why this ending leads to a beginning you never imagined, and listen carefully, because the truth I have not revealed yet will change everything. And this truth is the reason I have guarded you so fiercely even when you felt exposed, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this moment, because what I am about to say will connect every broken piece into one clear picture. And tell me honestly, have you ever wondered why your pain felt deeper than others around you? That depth was not weakness, it was capacity, and this is not random. You were built to carry more, to see more, to feel more, because what I am placing in your hands requires a heart that understands suffering without becoming bitter, and haven't you noticed how compassion grew in you even while you were hurting? That was me shaping you, and type Amen if you recognize how different you are now compared to who you were before the pain. There is urgency again because the enemy does not fight empty futures, and you must hear this: the reason opposition surrounded you was because of what was ahead of you, and do you feel a sudden clarity as I say this? That clarity is confirmation, and listen carefully, my beloved. You were never falling behind, you were being set apart, and this is not random. I am ending cycles that ran in your family, patterns you did not create but were born into, and tell me, have you felt like you were carrying burdens that were not originally yours? That weight lifts now, because what ends with you will never touch what comes after you, and type yes if you are ready to be the turning point. I am restoring your sense of identity, and when you finally see yourself the way I see you, the shame will lose its voice, and haven't you noticed how certain memories no longer sting the same way? That is healing beginning to show itself, and do not skip this, because I am sealing something over your life right now, a protection that will make future storms pass over you instead of through you. Fear will try to ask what if it fails again, but listen carefully, my child, this time is different, because you are different, and do you feel that quiet confidence starting to rise even as fear speaks? That is my assurance, and this is not random. I am positioning you for favor that cannot be forced, and when it arrives it will feel effortless compared to the struggle you knew before, and tell me honestly, does the idea of ease feel unfamiliar to you? I am teaching you that peace is allowed, and type 1111 if you are ready to receive without guilt. There is one final piece I have not yet spoken, a revelation about timing that will explain why this change begins now and not later, and you must hear this, because once you understand it, you will never question my silence again, and listen carefully, my beloved, because what happens next will shock you. Because now the time has aligned with who you have become, and listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because timing is the final key you were missing, and tell me honestly, have you noticed that you no longer react the way you used to when pressure appears? That is because you are ready now, and this is not random. I could not release this blessing earlier because it would have overwhelmed the version of you that existed back then, and haven't you wondered why certain opportunities almost happened but then vanished at the last moment? That was mercy, not loss, and type Amen if you can finally see how protection disguised itself as disappointment. There is urgency again because once readiness meets timing, movement begins quickly, and you must hear this, the doors opening before you will not require begging, forcing, or proving, and do you feel a calm confidence replacing desperation as I speak? That is alignment, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am accelerating what was delayed, and what took years to endure will be undone in moments, and this is not random. I am correcting imbalances, restoring what was unfairly taken, and silencing voices that spoke against you in secret, and tell me, have you sensed that certain people no longer have the same influence over your emotions? That is freedom announcing itself, and type yes if you feel less controlled by opinions than you once were. Do not skip this, because I am about to warn you gently, when relief comes, you may be tempted to look back at what hurt you, but listen carefully, my child, do not return to what I rescued you from, and haven't you already learned the cost of staying too long in places I told you to outgrow? Trust me now, because the peace ahead is fragile only if you try to mix it with the past, and this is not random. I am also restoring your ability to dream again, and do you remember when imagining a better future felt painful instead of hopeful? That heaviness is lifting, and type 1111 if you feel your vision expanding even now. I am breathing courage into decisions you have been avoiding, and when you move, support will rise that you did not expect, and tell me honestly, does the idea of being supported instead of struggling alone feel almost unbelievable? That disbelief is fading, because you are not meant to carry what comes next by yourself, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am sending helpers, confirmations, and sudden clarity, and you will recognize them instantly, and this is not random. One more shift remains, a final internal release that will unlock the fullness of what I promised, and when it happens, you will understand why this suffering had to end exactly here, exactly now, and you must hear this, because everything is about to change. And that final internal release is the letting go of who you had to be to survive, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this moment, because survival taught you strength but it is no longer your assignment, and tell me honestly, have you been holding yourself in a constant state of readiness for bad news even when things seem calm? That posture was necessary before, but it is no longer required now, and this is not random. I am teaching you how to live without bracing for impact, and haven't you noticed how your body and spirit are tired of always being on guard? That exhaustion is your signal that a safer season has begun, and type Amen if you are ready to rest without fear. There is urgency here because letting go can feel scarier than holding on, and you must hear this, if you keep the armor on, you will not feel the embrace I am offering, and do you feel resistance rising as I say this? That resistance is not wisdom, it is habit, and listen carefully, my beloved, habits formed in pain do not belong in peace, and this is not random. I am healing the way you see yourself, not just the circumstances around you, and tell me, have you ever introduced yourself to the world through your struggles instead of your identity? That ends now, because you are more than what hurt you, and type yes if you are ready to be known for who you are becoming, not what you survived. Do not skip this, because the way you think about yourself will determine how you receive what I am sending, and haven't you noticed how compliments used to make you uncomfortable? That discomfort was rooted in unhealed wounds, and I am closing them, and listen carefully, my child, confidence will no longer feel like arrogance to you, it will feel like truth, and this is not random. I am also freeing you from the need to explain your journey to those who never walked it, and do you feel relief at the thought of no longer proving your pain was real? You owe no one an explanation, and type 1111 if you are ready to walk forward without carrying old stories. There is a quiet joy preparing to meet you, and it will arrive gently, not dramatically, and tell me honestly, does the idea of peace without chaos feel unfamiliar but inviting? That is how you will know it is real, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am replacing intensity with consistency, and safety with excitement, and this is not random. One last truth remains, a revelation about how others will respond when your suffering truly ends, and you must hear it before you move forward, because it will protect your heart, and listen carefully, because what I reveal next will change how you see everything. And this is what you must understand about others, listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because when your suffering ends, not everyone will celebrate the same way, and tell me honestly, have you already sensed subtle distance or discomfort from some people as you began to change? That awareness is not imagination, it is discernment awakening, and this is not random. Some only knew how to relate to you through your pain, and when you rise, their access changes, and haven't you noticed how certain conversations no longer resonate the way they used to? That is growth, not loss, and type Amen if you are ready to protect your peace without guilt. There is urgency here because misunderstanding may come before understanding, and you must hear this, do not shrink yourself to keep others comfortable, and do you feel the temptation to dim your joy so it does not threaten anyone? That temptation is old programming, and listen carefully, my beloved, your healing does not require permission, and this is not random. I am teaching you to let people adjust on their own while you keep moving forward, and tell me, have you ever delayed your own happiness waiting for others to catch up? That waiting season is over, and type yes if you are ready to choose alignment over approval. Do not skip this, because I am also warning you gently, some will return pretending they never hurt you once they see you restored, and haven't you already learned the difference between reconciliation and access? Discernment will guide you now, and listen carefully, my child, peace will be your filter, and anything that disturbs it will reveal itself quickly, and this is not random. I am strengthening your boundaries without hardening your heart, and do you feel more comfortable saying no without explaining yourself? That is healing maturing, and type 1111 if you feel that strength settling in. As your suffering ends, your testimony begins quietly, not loudly, and tell me honestly, does it feel strange to imagine your life without constant struggle? That strangeness will fade, replaced by stability, and listen carefully, my beloved, you are not losing people, you are gaining clarity. There is one final shift approaching, a moment when you will look back and realize the pain truly released its grip, and you must hear this, because when that moment comes, it will confirm everything I have spoken, and listen carefully, because what happens next will shock you. And when that moment arrives, it will be quieter than you expected but deeper than you imagined, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because the end of suffering does not always announce itself with noise, and tell me honestly, have you been waiting for a dramatic sign instead of noticing the gentle relief already forming? That gentle relief is the evidence, and this is not random. One day you will wake up and realize the fear that used to greet you in the morning is no longer there, and haven't you already experienced brief moments of calm that surprised you recently? Those moments are previews, and type Amen if you recognize peace beginning to settle in small ways. There is urgency here because peace can be overlooked if you expect chaos, and you must hear this: do not mistake stability for stagnation. And do you feel a quiet excitement beneath the calm as I say this? That excitement is alignment, and listen carefully, my beloved, your nervous system is learning safety again, and this is not random. I am retraining your heart to expect good without suspicion, and tell me, have you ever questioned joy the moment it appeared? That questioning came from past loss, not present truth, and I am healing that now, and type yes if you are ready to receive happiness without bracing for disappointment. Do not skip this, because I am about to show you how far you have come, and haven't you noticed how problems that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable? That shift is strength revealed, and listen carefully, my child, you are no longer fragile, you are resilient without being hardened, and this is not random. I am also adjusting your sense of time, and tell me honestly, does the future feel less threatening than it used to? That is hope returning, and type 1111 if you feel anticipation replacing dread. There will be moments when you catch yourself laughing freely and then pausing, surprised, and listen carefully, my beloved, that pause will remind you how much has healed, and you will not need to force gratitude, it will arise naturally. One last confirmation remains, a final recognition that this suffering truly ended and will not return in the same way, and you must hear it to seal this season, so listen carefully, because everything is about to change. And this confirmation will come through contrast, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because you will recognize the end of suffering by how differently you respond when pressure tries to return, and tell me honestly, have you noticed that situations which once sent you spiraling now only pause you briefly? That is not numbness, that is healing, and this is not random. You will face familiar triggers but they will no longer control you, and haven't you already felt moments where old fears knocked but you did not open the door? That restraint is growth, and type Amen if you feel stronger without feeling hardened. There is urgency here because doubt may whisper that this peace is temporary, and you must hear this: peace that comes from me is stable, not fragile, and do you feel reassurance settling in as I say this? That reassurance is your spirit recognizing truth, and listen carefully, my beloved, you are not returning to who you were, you are advancing into who you were always meant to be, and this is not random. I am showing you that suffering ends not when problems disappear but when they lose authority over you, and tell me, have you sensed that your inner dialogue has softened lately? That softness is safety, and type yes if your thoughts feel kinder than they used to. Do not skip this, because I am sealing your confidence now. And haven't you noticed how you trust your decisions more instead of second-guessing every step? That trust is restoration, and listen carefully, my child, I am also restoring your laughter, your curiosity, and your willingness to hope again, and do you feel excitement flickering where exhaustion once lived? Let it grow, because this is not random. There will be a moment very soon when you look back at the start of this year and realize something heavy never followed you forward, and tell me honestly, can you already sense what stayed behind? That awareness will mark your freedom, and type 1111 if you believe this year truly carries a different weight. I am proud of you for enduring without losing your heart, and listen carefully, my beloved, endurance has completed its work, and now reward begins, and do you feel gratitude mixing with relief as you hear this? That mixture is healing maturing. One final unveiling remains, a revelation about how this ending unlocks a future you have not yet seen, and you must stay with me, because the truth I am about to speak next will change how you see everything that comes after this. And that future opens because suffering was never your destination, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because what ends here creates space for something entirely new to enter, and tell me honestly, have you felt a quiet pull toward possibilities you once dismissed as unrealistic? That pull is not imagination, it is invitation, and this is not random. I am expanding your capacity to receive without fear, and haven't you noticed how your standards have risen while your tolerance for chaos has fallen? That shift is maturity, and type Amen if you feel less willing to settle than ever before. There is urgency now because opportunity recognizes readiness, and you must hear this, the doors approaching you will respond to confidence, not desperation. And do you feel steadiness in your chest as I speak of what is coming? That steadiness is assurance, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am aligning you with people and paths that match your healed self, and this is not random. Some offers will look good but feel wrong, and tell me, have you learned to trust that inner pause that says not this? That discernment will protect you. And type yes if you are committed to honoring peace over pressure. Do not skip this, because I am also preparing you for joy that feels earned yet freely given, and haven't you wondered if happiness could arrive without another test attached? Hear me now, my child, joy does not need to be justified by pain, and do you feel resistance to that truth even as it comforts you? Let the comfort win. Because this is not random. I am restoring your imagination, and tell me honestly, when was the last time you allowed yourself to picture a future without bracing for loss? That permission is returning, and type 1111 if you feel hope stretching beyond caution. There will be moments ahead when you instinctively reach for old coping patterns and then stop yourself, and listen carefully, my beloved. That pause will be your victory, and do you sense pride rising without arrogance? That pride is healthy, and it honors how far you have come. I am also reminding you to celebrate quietly at first, to let joy settle before you announce it, and haven't you learned the power of protecting good news until it roots? That wisdom will serve you well, and this is not random. As suffering ends, purpose sharpens, and you will feel drawn to contribute, to create, to give from overflow instead of depletion, and tell me, does the idea of living from fullness instead of survival feel both exciting and unfamiliar? That unfamiliarity will fade, because it is your true design returning. One final truth remains just ahead, a revelation about the exact moment you will recognize the miracle has begun, and you must stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next will shock you. And that realization will arrive as peace instead of explanation, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because the mind seeks reasons but the soul recognizes truth, and tell me honestly, have you noticed that you no longer need answers the way you once did? That release is the signal, and this is not random. You will understand that your suffering ended here because it completed its assignment, and haven't you felt a sense of completion even without closure from people or situations? That completion is freedom, and type Amen if you feel done without needing validation. There is urgency now because the next season requires lightness, and you must hear this. Carrying old questions will slow what is about to move quickly, and do you feel a gentle nudge to travel lighter emotionally? That nudge is guidance, and listen carefully, my beloved. I am simplifying your life so you can recognize blessings when they arrive. You will begin to see patterns of ease replacing cycles of effort, and tell me, have you already noticed fewer obstacles demanding explanation? That simplicity is intentional, and this is not random. Do not skip this, because I am also changing how you pray, and haven't your prayers become calmer, less frantic, more trusting? That shift is intimacy deepening, and type yes if your conversations with me feel more honest than ever. There will be moments when you realize you are no longer asking to be rescued but asking to be guided, and listen carefully, my child, that transition marks maturity, and do you feel pride without ego as you hear this? That pride honors growth. I am also preparing you to receive without suspicion, and tell me honestly, does good news still make you wait for the catch? That reflex is fading, because you are safe now, and this is not random. I am sealing your peace so it does not depend on circumstances, and haven't you felt steady even when uncertainty passes nearby? That steadiness is protection, and type 1111 if you feel anchored beyond conditions. As this chapter closes, you will realize the ending did not come with noise because it came with certainty, and listen carefully, my beloved, certainty does not shout, it settles. One last unveiling remains, a final truth about how quickly life will respond to the healed version of you, and you must stay with me, because what happens next will shock you. And life will respond faster than you expect because resistance dissolves when alignment is complete, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because what I am saying now will protect your heart in the days ahead, and tell me honestly, have you noticed how delays no longer provoke panic the way they once did? That calm is authority settling in, and this is not random. When you move now, momentum will meet you halfway, and haven't you already sensed that decisions feel cleaner, less tangled with fear? That clarity invites cooperation from life itself, and type Amen if you feel things beginning to flow instead of fight. There is urgency here because old instincts may urge you to rush or over-explain, and you must hear this, you no longer need to convince the world of your worth, and do you feel relief at the thought of letting results speak quietly? That relief is freedom, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am teaching you to respond instead of react. You will notice people treating you differently without knowing why, and tell me, have you already sensed a shift in how you are received? That change mirrors the peace you carry now, and this is not random. Do not skip this, because I am also adjusting your expectations of speed, and haven't you learned that what grows naturally lasts longer than what is rushed? That patience will be rewarded, and type yes if you trust timing more than pressure. Opportunities will begin to recognize you without pursuit, and listen carefully, my child, attraction replaces striving when healing is complete, and do you feel confidence without urgency rising within you? That confidence is stability. I am also reminding you to keep your inner circle small while things take root, and tell me honestly, have you learned the cost of sharing too soon? Wisdom will guide you now, and this is not random. As your suffering ends, your presence becomes your message, and you will notice that silence speaks louder for you than explanations ever did, and haven't you already felt less compelled to defend yourself? That restraint is strength refined, and type 1111 if you feel grounded in who you are. There is a moment approaching when you will witness a clear, undeniable response from life that confirms everything I have spoken, and you must hear this, because when it happens you will recognize it instantly, and listen carefully, my beloved, because what unfolds next will change everything. And when that response appears it will feel almost ordinary yet profoundly right, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because ordinary is where permanence hides, and tell me honestly, have you spent so long surviving that peace feels unfamiliar when it stays? That unfamiliarity will soon become home, and this is not random. You will recognize the confirmation not by shock but by relief, and haven't you already noticed moments where your body relaxes before your mind catches up? That relaxation is truth settling deeper than thought, and type Amen if your breath feels easier even now. There is urgency here because the old instinct to question good seasons may try to return, and you must hear this, not every calm precedes a storm. Some calm announces safety, and do you feel reassurance spreading as I say this? That reassurance is my presence, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am retraining your expectations. You will begin to plan without fear interrupting every idea, and tell me, have you noticed how imagining the future no longer exhausts you? That energy returning is evidence, and this is not random. Do not skip this, because I am also restoring your patience with yourself, and haven't you stopped criticizing your pace the way you once did? That gentleness is maturity, and type yes if you feel more compassion toward your own process. There will be moments when you look around and realize the chaos you once lived in no longer recognizes you, and listen carefully, my child, that distance is protection. And do you feel gratitude replacing vigilance? Let it stay, because vigilance is no longer required. I am also opening space for joy that does not need a reason, and tell me honestly, does laughter come easier now than it used to? That ease is healing expressing itself, and this is not random. You will notice that even challenges arrive differently, with solutions close behind. And haven't you already seen problems resolve without consuming your peace? That pattern will continue, and type 1111 if you trust what is unfolding. As this year moves forward, you will realize that your greatest suffering did not end with a dramatic goodbye but with a quiet release, and listen carefully, my beloved, quiet releases last the longest. One final moment remains, a closing seal that will mark this season as complete and open the next chapter fully, and you must stay present, because what I am about to reveal next will shock you and change how you walk forward forever. And that closing seal will come the moment you stop looking back for proof and start walking forward with trust, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because this is where the transformation becomes permanent, and tell me honestly, have you noticed how the urge to revisit old pain is fading even without effort? That fading is the seal forming, and this is not random. You will realize the chapter is truly closed when memories lose their emotional charge, and haven't you already experienced moments where the past feels distant instead of sharp? That distance is healing completed, and type Amen if the weight feels lighter than it did even a short time ago. There is urgency here because the final test of freedom is temptation to re-enter what no longer belongs to you, and you must hear this, curiosity is normal but return is unnecessary, and do you feel a quiet strength choosing forward motion instead of reflection? That choice is maturity, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am teaching you to honor endings without reopening doors. You will begin to notice that your time feels more valuable, and tell me, have you become more selective with your energy and attention lately? That selectiveness is wisdom, and this is not random. Do not skip this, because I am also sealing your emotional boundaries, and haven't you felt less affected by what once pulled you into reaction? That calm is authority stabilized, and type yes if peace feels like your default rather than your goal. There will be a moment soon when someone or something reminds you of who you used to be, and listen carefully, my child, your lack of reaction will confirm the seal, and do you feel confidence in who you are now without needing to announce it? That quiet confidence is strength refined. I am also preparing you for forward motion that feels natural instead of forced, and tell me honestly, does movement feel easier now that you are no longer dragging the past with you? That ease is alignment, and this is not random. As the seal completes, you will feel an inner stillness that does not depend on circumstances, and haven't you already sensed calm even when life remains busy? That calm is the mark of completion, and type 1111 if you feel settled in a way you have never felt before. The suffering has ended, the chapter is sealed, but what opens next carries responsibility as well as reward, and you must hear this, because the next steps will require trust at a deeper level than ever before, and listen carefully, my beloved, because the first sign of what comes next is already approaching, and what happens next will change everything. And that first sign will feel like an invitation rather than a demand, so listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because the way you respond to what comes next will shape the season ahead, and tell me honestly, have you noticed that opportunities now approach you gently instead of chasing you aggressively? That gentleness is respect, and this is not random. You will feel drawn, not pressured, and haven't you already sensed moments where your heart said yes before your fear could object? That quiet yes is alignment speaking, and type amen if you feel readiness without anxiety. There is urgency here because old instincts may tell you to overthink what is meant to be received simply, and you must hear this, clarity does not need confirmation from chaos, and do you feel relief as I say this? That relief is trust settling deeper, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am teaching you how to move from invitation instead of obligation. You will recognize the sign by how peaceful your decision feels even before results appear, and tell me, have you ever felt calm before seeing proof? That calm is faith matured, and this is not random. Do not skip this, because I am also revealing that the next chapter will not drain you the way the last one did, and haven't you feared that responsibility would bring exhaustion again? Hear me now, my child, what is coming will energize you, not consume you, and do you feel excitement rising without fear attached? That is how you will know it is right, and type yes if joy feels clean instead of heavy. There will be moments when you move forward and expect resistance out of habit, and listen carefully, my beloved, when resistance does not appear, do not create it, receive the ease, and do you sense how unfamiliar yet welcome that ease feels? That welcome is healing fully expressed. I am also reminding you that growth now happens through consistency, not crisis, and tell me honestly, does the idea of steady progress feel safer than dramatic change? That preference is wisdom earned, and this is not random. As you step into what is next, you will realize that the greatest suffering ended not only to give you rest but to give you responsibility over peace, and haven't you already felt protective of your calm? That protectiveness is stewardship, and type 1111 if you are ready to guard what I restored. One final shift remains, a moment when you will fully see how everything you endured prepared you to hold what is coming without losing yourself, and you must stay present for this, because the truth I reveal next will shock you and redefine how you see your entire journey. And that moment will arrive when you realize you are no longer afraid of losing what you receive. So listen carefully, my child, do not skip this, because freedom is revealed when fear of loss dissolves. And tell me honestly, have you noticed that you are less attached to outcomes than you once were? That detachment is not indifference, it is security, and this is not random. You will recognize how far you have come when you can hold blessings with open hands instead of clenched fists, and haven't you already felt a loosening in your grip on how things must turn out? That looseness is trust perfected, and type Amen if you feel steady even without guarantees. There is urgency here because the old version of you equated control with safety, and you must hear this: safety now comes from alignment, not control. And do you feel peace rising as I say this? That peace is your confirmation, and listen carefully, my beloved, I am showing you that you can enjoy without guarding, hope without bracing, love without fear of collapse. Do not skip this, because I am also revealing how prepared you truly are. And tell me, have you stopped asking if you deserve good things and started asking how to steward them well? That shift marks readiness, and this is not random. You will notice that when challenges arise, they no longer shake your identity, and haven't you already seen yourself remain centered while circumstances fluctuate? That stability is strength integrated, and type yes if calm feels rooted instead of temporary. I am also releasing you from the need to be understood by everyone, and listen carefully, my child, understanding will follow fruit, not explanations. And do you feel relief knowing you can let your life speak? That relief is freedom expanding. There will be moments ahead when old fears try to resurface out of habit, and you must hear this: habits can knock but they do not have keys. And do you feel confidence in saying no without effort? That confidence is authority claimed, and this is not random. As you continue forward, gratitude will replace vigilance naturally. And tell me honestly, does thankfulness now arise without forcing positivity? That ease is healing complete. I am also reminding you that you were trained by suffering but refined by surrender. And haven't you noticed how surrender feels powerful now instead of weak? That reversal is transformation fulfilled, and type 1111 if you feel grounded beyond circumstance. The final confirmation approaches, a clear unmistakable moment when you will see with certainty that the old season cannot follow you into the new, and you must stay alert, my beloved, because when it happens it will feel simple yet irreversible. And what happens next will shock you.